Were you hesitant to get into acting based on your father's success?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in a major way. Had no interest.
No interest.
Zero. Like, when I got into it, my friends were like, what? You know, like, why would you do that?
How did Goonies come about?
It was all an accident. I got kicked out of my house in Santa Barbara by my mom. I went to live in my dad's apartment. He was living in an apartment at that time down in LA, and I slept on his couch. And I wanted to get my shit together because I was doing some pretty, you know, I'd been to jail a couple of times already. And then I was like, and I started doing karate, taekwondo, and I was like trying to be healthy. And I was like, what could I do? And I made up a resume, all like 100% lies. And I went from agent to agent and saying, you know, they were like, you know, so you did a version of Streetcar on Stage at the Librero International Theater, which doesn't exist. Yeah. And you're like, yeah. And
did your dad help you with all these lines?
No.
That's all you?
At all.
But did he recognize your name?
I recognized the name, which was also like, either people let me in the door because of the name or they challenged me. Like, I remember there was one lady that said, yeah, like, aren't you Brolin's kid? And I go, yeah. And they go, and you want to be an actor, huh? And I go, yeah. And they go, so act. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, I got a couple monologues, I got prepared, or you want me to do that? And she said, thanks for coming in. That's what I thought. And she turned around. So I would get that.
Wow.
So there was that. And I think that's more old school. It's like, do you really deserve to be here? I'm not going to give you the chance, the nepotistic chance, because you're Brolin's kid and that kind of thing. But I don't think that was a bad thing. I don't think, like, Goonies was a really good thing, but it was unrealistic. Goonies was so amazing that afterwards, I thought Goonies just kept happening.
Yeah. Right.
Then you do Thrash, and then you do Highway to Heaven, then you get a career out of it. So I think it happened in the way that it should have, where I went to New York and I started doing theater.
Yeah, that's what you told me
like,
when we saw each other at Tarzan. You said, yeah, that was my cue to leave Hollywood and go do theater.
That's exactly. So thank God it happened, because it got me motivated. And I was like, look, I'm not going to, if I'm going to do this, I want to be good at it. And why am I doing this? Because behaviorally, it's super fucking interesting. Like, what makes people tick? You know, why do I like French Connection? Why do I like Dog Day Afternoon? What is it about those movies? Yeah, they're cool and they're badass and they're you know, guy robbing a bank or a guy running from a thing or a, you know, corrupt cop and all that. But what is it behaviorally that I like? And what I found out at that point is exactly still what exists now, because I always want to get out of the business. Like, I go, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I just get, you know, and then I go, okay, I got to take a couple of days. Maybe I'll go watch behind the scenes of, like, you know, Raging Bull or something, or, you know, Taxi Driver. And I see people, editors talking about, like, oh my God, De Niro had this moment. We didn't even see it while we were filming, or Scorsese's talking about something. And then I get all jazzed up again. And I'm like, yeah, this is a good thing. This is just about celebrity and Instagram and, you know, how many people are following you and all that. And then you get back.
You do. I mean, you can tell. I can tell from your acting, especially in, like, No Country for Old Men, and you have such a reverence for the craft. But what I was wondering is, what was the spark, either in New York or later on, that it was like, all right, I can get back into the film, or what was the opportunity?
I did a series called Young Riders, which was cool. They offered me the lead, and I didn't want the lead because there was a supporting part that I thought was a better part. So I kind of got and even though they go, you know, we're giving you more money, we're giving you like 4 times the amount of money. I said, I don't want it. I want that part. And then they ended up making that part kind of the lead, even though it was an ensemble.
Is that something that you usually do? Have you ever looked at it like that, or was that your first time?
It sounds like a kind of like a look what I did kind of thing. I think when I look back on it, because it's been long enough, I think the whole Cito Rat thing and how I grew up kind of lent myself to that.
Yeah.
So there was a moment that I had where I got offered, I think, was it before that? It was before that. There was a series called Private Eye, and they were doing like a nationwide search for this guy to play this kind of Elvis character, big pompadour, leather jacket, 1950s, and they were looking everywhere for this dude. And I was nobody. So they go, and then I got this offer. I read for Frankie Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello's Back to the Beach. And it was like those 60s movies that were really popular, and it was them coming back to do a movie. And everybody goes, this is going to be huge. And I got offered like the dumb surfer guy, you know, like, oh, what's up, dude? You know, and then we were like, you're perfect. Why don't you do that? And my agent said, hey, you got this offer. That's great. You haven't had an offer for a year. You know, this is a good thing for you. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want that other role. I kind of want the nationwide search role. And they're like, yeah, that's never going to happen. And I was like, yeah, I don't really like this role. Like Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon's not really my thing.
Yeah.
It feels just a little too soft.
Yeah.
And then, so I went for the other role, and I turned down that role. And I got called by 5 agents. And I remember one agent said, you're an idiot. Like, I want to be straight with you. You're an idiot.
Just called to tell you you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
That's cool.
And that's it. So the agency almost dropped me, and I ended up getting that role somehow. And then that kind of started a trajectory into that.
So
like,
that was
caring
it?
about
You
the craft.
decided to make like a move that could be like a career-ending move, or
The fact that I was saying no to anything at that point probably wasn't anybody's idea of smart.
what possessed you to, you just felt it. And then from there, because it sounds like once that happened, you were like, oh, we're on a roll right now. Was there a different, nothing like that? No mind shift, just like, I'm lucky or anything like that? Just hey, and who knows what's next?
It's not like, of course I got it. I mean, I was really stoked to get it.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things like, this is what I want to be doing. That's where the focus is. And not, oh, if you focus on it, you can make it happen and visualize it and it will make it happen. It wasn't that. It was just like, this is not what I want to do, and I would rather not have a career, which kind of lent itself to later. Like, I just did a TV series called Out of Range, and there was a series that I did called Mr. Sterling, and I hated it so much that I said I would rather not have a career than do TV again. And I didn't do TV for 20 years. And then that's when No Country happened. And had I continued doing TV, I didn't know that, but I was kind of thought my career was ending. And then when I stopped doing TV and I wasn't getting work, and then No Country kind of came out of nowhere about 1.5 years, I started trading stocks full time. That's how I was making money.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Trading what?
Stocks. I was trading full time for 4 years.
So
That's
4
wild.
years, how long were you?
I sound like I'm full of shit.
Dude, I'm taking this as,
You know, he padded his resume, so we don't know what to believe.
I know. I lied from the beginning, bro.
We're not sure which Josh Brolin we're getting,
Yeah,
but here we are.
holidays are here, and that means one thing.